I'm very glad that we have this technology that we can all join together and still practice together safely and come together in a way that wouldn't be possible without it. So thank you for inviting me to be a part of your community. And so we will start tonight with the mantra for increasing virtue, and that's in the chat if you're not familiar with what we have been doing on a regular basis. Just go over to the chat box and you'll find mantras we've done in the past that you can do while waiting for the session to start, and then this new mantra that we're going to do. And we just do this 7 times, and doing these mantras is a way to vastly increase the merit of any practice that you do. So it's a really easy, quick way to help set this intention, to protect your mind, to increase the spiritual energy that you're creating. There are many different ways to put it. So it's a great habit to be in, of doing these little mantras. Okay, so we do this 7 times. Om SAMBHARA SAMBHARA BIMANA SARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SMARA SMARA BIMANA SKARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SAMBHARA SAMBHARA BIMANA SARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SMARA SMARA BIMANA SKARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SAMBHARA SAMBHARA BIMANA SARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SMARA SMARA BIMANA SKARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SAMBHARA SAMBHARA BIMANA SARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SMARA SMARA BIMANA SKARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SAMBHARA SAMBHARA BIMANA SARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SMARA SMARA BIMANA SKARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SAMBHARA SAMBHARA BIMANA SARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SMARA SMARA BIMANA SKARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SAMBHARA SAMBHARA BIMANA SARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. Om SMARA SMARA BIMANA SKARA MAHA DZAWA HUM. And then make sure that you are seated in a comfortable position. The meditation posture is very important in order to stay stable during your meditation. Your back needs to be nice and straight without feeling really tense. And so adjust your cushions or your chair, however you need to find that sweet spot where your back is very straight, but it's not because you're putting a lot of effort into it. And when you feel like you've found that position, just start to notice what's happening in your body. We're practicing a little bit of mindfulness, just connecting to what's happening right now. We don't need to be concerned about anything that's happened in the past. We don't have to worry about anything that's going to happen in the future. Just right now, what's happening in your body. Feel where your body connects with either the chair or the cushion or the floor. Feel any sensations. And we're just paying attention to whatever is there. We're not going into a whole story, labeling it, explaining it, wondering why it's happening. It's literally just paying attention to it. And then we're going to take 3 nice deep breaths to help further relax into our posture. And when you finish, just let your breathing return to normal again. And we need to set a very strong altruistic intention for any practice. And so a very simple, brief way to do that is to think, may all the actions of my body, speech, and mind only benefit others. And when we really start to think about it, when we think every action of the body, speech, and mind, may it only benefit others, which means not harming, not even being neutral, but actually benefiting others. And others, because we're normally just focused on ourselves. Me, myself, and I'm the star of the show. The whole universe revolves around me. What I need is what's most important. But an altruistic attitude shifts to realizing our interdependence with others and how our happiness relies on others and how kind they are to us. And whether we like them or not, that relationship between all sentient beings is so interdependent that there's really no separation between the self and other. So as Holiness often says, if you're going to be selfish, be wisely selfish. So investing in the happiness of others is actually also investing in your own true happiness. And so may we do this purification practice tonight so that all of these actions of our body, speech, and mind that have been negative become purified, and that we set up these new habits that everything we do actually is of benefit to others. And so we start with the power of regret, the first of the 4 opponent powers. And with the power of regret, we can start by just thinking back over today. If there's anything that you've done that might have been negative with your body or your speech or your mind, try and remember it, recognize it as an important first step in being able to change what you want to change. And then continue to think about anything that you might have done, perhaps recently, or perhaps a longer time ago, but it keeps coming back to your mind and disturbing your mind as something that you regret. And include those as something that you want to change. And then there's going to be a lot of actions that we don't remember. We can barely remember what we've done today. We definitely can't remember everything we've done every minute of the day. And so we can't remember everything we've done in our lifetime. We can't remember what we've done in eons of past lives. But we can be sure that we've done things that were harmful. And so we have a general regret for anything that we might have done with our body, speech, and mind that harmed others, or even was just general negative towards ourselves. Any negative thoughts that we might have, like depression or low self-esteem, these things that where we criticize ourselves inwardly. And so how do we actually purify? It's through this method of Vajrasattva. So it isn't some sort of magic thing where Vajrasattva just suddenly fixes everything. The purification is in our making the effort to do this process. And we're using Vajrasattva's method because Vajrasattva has perfected this wisdom and compassion that we're trying to develop. He's like our perfect role model. And he just wants to help us. And so visualize on the crown of your head a brilliant white lotus made of light, soft, flowing petals. On a moon disk sits Vajrasattva, who has a white body, holding a Vajra and bell. Vajra in his right hand, the bell in the left, symbolizing this union of wisdom and compassion, wisdom and method. He has a sweet, beautiful, smiling face. Everything, every atom, every little bit of energy is just love, non-judgment, wanting to help. And he is one with your guru. They are inseparable. And we take refuge. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so we have this real compassion in our heart. We know what it's like to have an unhappy mind or to have a body that suffers from illness. We've had people in our lives who have died. We all share these experiences. So we know how painful it is. So we can have this incredible compassion that for everyone that goes through these sufferings. There's really no one who's exempt. And all of the experiences that we have that are negative, that are suffering, come from having harmed. When we harm others, they suffer. We create causes for them to harm us. Then we suffer again. And it just goes in a terrible cycle that we call samsara. May we all be free of it. And so we begin then the actual practice, which is the third of the opponent powers. And we start with purifying any actions of body. Guru Vajrasattva sends down powerful white nectar, like a hose, entering the top of your head through the crown. And the white nectar blissfully fills your body, and it pushes out any negative actions of body in the form of a black inky liquid. which exits your lower orifices. And as it exits your body, just completely disappears as if it had never been there. And that's purifying all these negative actions of body. And we say the Vajrasattva mantra 7 times. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakarma Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadada Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabaha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadara Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadara Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakarma Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadada Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakarma Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadada Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakarma Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadada Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakarma Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadada Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe. And so think now how wonderful it is that all your negative actions of body are completely purified, so that everything you do with your body is now to benefit others. And then we purify any negative actions of speech, anything that we've said that might have harmed others or caused others to harm others, anything that disturbed their mind, anything unskillful that we've said, or even just when we blah, 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 wasting time, precious time. Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately again sends down a powerful beam of white nectar that blissfully fills your body, this time from the bottom up, pushing up the black inky liquid, which exits out of the top of your body. And that black inky liquid, which are the negative actions of speech, just dissipates as if it had never even been there. And this is purifying those negative actions of speech. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakarma Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadada Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denupatita Dida Mebawa Sutashaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasiddhi Memprayatsa Sarvakarma Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kudahum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarvadada Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Sapa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutrashaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anadata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramame Musa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutrashaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anarata Mebawa, Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakamasitame, Siddhivashrim Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho, Bhagawan, Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dedam Padita Dida Mebawa, Sutoshaya Mebawa, Supashaya Mebawa, Anarata Mebawa, Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakamasitame, Siddhivashrim Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho, Bhagawan, Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anarata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Siddham Shrim Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anarata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Siddham Shrim Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. And then just be so delighted that all your negative actions of speech are now completely purified so that everything you say is to benefit others. And then we purify any negative actions of mind. This time, Guru Vajrasattva compassionately sends down a powerful beam of white light, and this blissful white light fills your body instantly. It illuminates everything, just like when you turn on the light in a dark room, all of a sudden the room is light. And this is purifying any of those negative thoughts, anything that you might have thought about harming others, about harming yourself, and especially the self-cherishing, grasping, ignorant I that we hold, the one that thinks that this I exists inherently or as some kind of boss of the body, boss of our actions. Any wrong view that we hold, as the light illuminates our body, is immediately purified as we say the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anarata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anadata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anarata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anarata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anadata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manipalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dida Mebawa Sutoshaya Mebawa Supashaya Mebawa Anadata Mebawa Sarvasiti Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvadata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Mahasamaya Safa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manpalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dita Mebawa Sutushaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Ananata Mebawa Sarvasati Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sitame Siddhim Shriyam Kuruhum Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajra Mame Mutsa Vajra Baha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe. And then be so happy that all of your delusions, the source of suffering for all sentient beings, including ourselves, completely purified. And then finally, we purify any of these subtle imprints that are left on the mind. We've eliminated all of the gross seeds that were planted from negative actions. But now there's a residue. So it's like when we flush the poo down the toilet, there's still a strong smell in the air. It's very similar. We're now purifying that bad smell that's left in the air. And so Guru Vajrasattva compassionately sends down a powerful beam of white light, again illuminating the body, purifying any of these subtle obscurations that are preventing us from becoming enlightened. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dita Mebawa Sutushaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasati Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sitame Siddhim Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dita Mebawa Sutushaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasati Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sitame Siddhim Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dita Mebawa Sutushaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anadati Mebawa Sarvasati Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sitame Siddhim Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dita Mebawa Sutushaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anadati Mebawa Sarvasati Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sitame Siddhim Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dita Mebawa Sutushaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasati Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sitame Siddhim Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dita Mebawa Sutushaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anarati Mebawa Sarvasati Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sitame Siddhim Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dena Patita Dita Mebawa Sutushaya Mebawa Supushaya Mebawa Anadati Mebawa Sarvasati Mempriyatsa Sarvakama Sitame Siddhim Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sarvatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabaha Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe. So think now your mind is also completely purified. There's only love, compassion, wisdom. And now that we have done the third opponent power, for the fourth, we have to set a resolve that we're going to behave with ethics, with non-harming. And so we start with anything specific that we've been working on, anything that we've remembered doing. We want to break the habit of harming others. And so we set a resolve that we think we can keep, like for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour or till I wake up in the morning, whatever it is. Set a resolve not to repeat that action. And if you keep that resolve not to repeat the action, then you make sure to rejoice in it. Continue to reinforce it with a positive feeling. And if the habit is just too strong, we've practiced it for many eons, and we make the mistake again, that's why we have to keep purifying every day. That's how we create these new habits. And we need to hold a very general wish, always to refrain from harm and always benefiting others. Keeping our ethics, keeping our vows if we hold any vows. And Guru Vajrasattva is just so delighted, wanting to merge with you. He dissolves into white light, enters the crown of your head, merges with you, so that your body, speech, and mind, the Guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind are all merged in union oneness, existing in a state of realizing emptiness. That no phenomena exist inherently from their own side. They are empty of inherent existence, including the self. So in emptiness, there is no I, negative creator of negative karma, no action of creating negative karma, and there's no negative karma created. And we've created incredible positive energy by making this effort to do this practice and to change our habits. And so we dedicate it to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I have created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then you can either recite these 3 verses or you just continue to meditate on the meaning. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may bodhicitta, from which the happiness of all sentient beings comes, be generated in the minds of self and other sentient beings without delay, even for 1 second. And that which has been generated, may it increase. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may emptiness be generated in the minds of self and other sentient beings without delay, even for 1 second. And that which has been generated, may it increase. As a result of the 3 times merits of myself and others, may I, who am empty from my own side, achieve Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's enlightenment, which is empty from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are empty from their own side to that enlightenment which is empty from its own side as quickly as possible by myself alone. And we also pray for the long lives of all of our gurus, and especially His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Geshe Sherab, and any of your personal gurus. May they have a long life, continue to teach the Dharma, hold us close in all future lives until we attain enlightenment, and help us to lead all sentient beings to that enlightened state as well. All right, so thank you again for joining in. Now you can sleep with a very happy mind.